Welcome to the mayhem, my fellow Cannabians. I am Weeder McGrowin and this is 420 News, brought to you exclusively on US Weed Channel and USWC Rocks Radio. You won't believe our top stories tonight. Detectives in Santa Barbara have identified a team of thieves taking green jobs, rather literally, targeting cannabis farms with all the subtlety of a herd of elephants in a greenhouse. The sheriff's office is now pursuing 18 suspects who clearly thought they could cultivate a bit of crime with their weed. Now, when I say they were weed whacking, it's usually not meant to involve an actual heist. You'd think they'd just sit back, relax, and watch some soothing episodes on usweedchannel.com and let the plants do the growing. But no, they've decided to show a criminal street greener than the plants they're lifting. Here's a high note: the detectives have unmasked these amateur botanists, making it clear that stealing from the industry isn't exactly growing on the local authorities. Honestly, infiltrating the cannabis world thinking you won't get sniffed out. That's about as logical as a joint that rolls itself. Stay tuned, my green-thumbed audiences, as we track the trail of these misguided gardeners. Well folks, the age-old question, does the state care more about your blissful bong rips or the cash register's sweet symphony? A riveting piece from the Times-Union hints that our dear old government might be more interested in dollar bills than our health thrills. Imagine that. As the cannabis market grows like a weed, we can't help but notice how much the taxman is frothing at the mouth. It seems as if happiness is a hobby, but revenue is the real high. Remember, for every puff of joy, there's a bureaucrat counting coins, likely wishing they could tax munchies next. Stay lifted, but keep an eye on your wallet, dear Cannabians. It's not just your head they're trying to turn. Ah, Carpinteria, where the ocean breezes dance with the aroma of, well, potential profit. Recently, there's been a string of sticky grabs, a whopping $500,000 worth of cannabis swiped in heists that left more buds behind than clues. Apparently, masks weren't necessary. When you're this audacious, who needs a face cover? The local cannabis farms are feeling like they're providing community service involuntarily. Police are on the case, undoubtedly searching for a suspect with an unexpectedly leafy wardrobe. This just in, detectives are reportedly looking into local pizza joints to see if there's been a spike in topping requests. One thing's clear, my fellow Cannabians, in this town, the motto is, harvest and dash. But don't worry, they're on a highway to jail time. Perhaps a blunt reminder that crime doesn't pay, unless you're hawking half-baked ideas. In our next act on the spinning stage of civility, the Senate's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed bill aims to protect insurers who cover cannabis businesses. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Lloyds of leaves of grass. Finally, a hedge against the risk of legal tangles for those insuring our favorite green enterprises. Now, while insurers start breathing that fresh skunky air of possibility, it's worth noting that these policies have been shadier than a Gorilla Glue grow-up. But don't worry, this bill promises to light a fire under those lagging legals. As Uncle Sam ponders pot, let's hope they don't get stuck in an endless loop of group discussion like a hippie in a drum circle. And remember, Cannabians, while the Senate is shedding light on the higher governance, you can always dig into more green stories at usweedchannel.com. Stay insured, stay enlightened. Well, here's a splash of industry news that'll make you leaf through your stock options. Cannabis has rolled out a fresh corporate update, as per PR Newswire. They've been fine-tuning their operations like a grower with a new set of shears, aiming to enhance efficiency and focus on profitability. Because when you're in the cannabis business, money should grow faster than the plants. Cannabis is shifting strategies, and let's hope their stock isn't the only thing getting high. This industry pivot sounds promising, but isn't it charming how corporate maneuvers are almost as relaxing as watching actual grass grow? Stay tuned, because you'll want to know if this green business blooms or wilts like a poorly watered pot plant. The youth of today. According to a federal survey, marijuana use among teens and young adults has been on a multi-year decline. Yes, you heard that right, folks. Despite the changing tides and more states lighting up the path of legalization, it seems our younglings aren't as eager to dive into the green. Maybe they've found TikTok more addictive, or perhaps they're just too busy taking selfies to roll one. Either way, it's a curious twist in the saga of the sacred herb. Is a responsible generation on the rise, or are they simply letting the oldies have all the fun? Only time, and possibly the munchies, will tell. In a groundbreaking maneuver, the Senate has introduced a bill that aims to shield insurers who cover cannabis businesses. That's right, folks, finally giving them some protection. Perhaps these insurers can breathe a sigh of relief, and maybe a little smoke while they're at it. As we puff through the legal haze, this bill could pave the way for insurers to cover cannabis businesses without the fear of federal repercussions. It's high time they finally get around to addressing this, considering the multi-billion-dollar industry rolling along in plain sight. Now, one might cynically wonder why it took so long for someone to light the fire under this issue. Maybe they were too busy finding their wherewithal with pharmaceutical lobbyists. Hard to say. Stay lit, folks. We'll keep you posted as this saga unfolds on usweedchannel.com. The old legal to and fro in the ever-entertaining world of cannabis commerce. Several cannabis store owners are trying to wave goodbye to the bulk of claims in a $5 million lawsuit, according to Law 360. Quite the puff piece, if you ask me. They say the case is going up in smoke faster than a joint at a Willie Nelson concert. Cynics argue it might be the lawyers' pockets getting high on fees. In the end, it's just another episode of Law and Order, Special Cush Unit. Let's hope justice is as swift as a speedy delivery. Well, it seems sales reps at a New Jersey cannabis brand have decided they want a little fun with the joint venture they voted to unionize, according to NJ Biz. Now, this might send shivers down the corporate spine like a sudden chill from an open window. But hey, it's all about that collective bargaining power. This move could mean better wages, benefits, and maybe even paid munchie breaks. It's a pivotal moment as cannabis workers across the country are starting to stand up for their rights. Cynically speaking, it appears the only thing higher than the profit margins might soon be the demands from the workforce. Stay tuned, because just like a hermetically sealed baggie, this development is tightly packed with possibilities. California has seized a whopping 63,000 pounds of illegal cannabis, a number so high it would make Snoop Dogg blush, or do the opposite. Apparently, the only thing stronger than the weed out there is the desire to get it without Uncle Sam involved. In what can only be described as a joint effort, authorities reeled in enough pot to keep the entire state of California mellow until the cows come home or the next election cycle, whichever is longer. But let's mull over this. While thousands of pounds are being confiscated, millions of dollars keep slipping through those regulatory fingers. It's enough to make you wonder if their green thumb tactics need a little fertilizing. Keep those eyes peeled and those lungs clean, folks. We're entering into an era where green is both the dream and the dread.
Those are your updates today, my puffers and puffettes. Try not to get caught up in the madness, stay grounded and lifted, and be good humans. Remember to support all things US Weed Channel as we create a voice for Canadians worldwide. Like, love, share, and definitely get the app. This is Weeder McGrowin with 420 News on US Weed Channel. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow.